Hello guys, in this video we will see what is a Dockerfile and also we will see some basic instructions used to create a Dockerfile, and also we see a real world example and create your own Docker image from your own Dockerfile. So let's get started. So what is a Dockerfile? Let's see. A Docker file is a plain text configuration file that is used in Docker. It is used to define a set of instructions for building a Docker container image. Docker files specify the base image, the installation of software, the file copying, and also the default command to run when a container based on the image is started. So Docker uses these instructions to automate the image building process. Here is our Docker file. We use Dockerfile to build our own custom Docker image, and then we run containers from that custom image. Now let's see some of the basic instructions that are used to create a Docker file. So here are the instructions that are used to create a Docker file. So let's see these all one by one. So the first one is from. It basically specifies the base image to use for your container. This instruction is mandatory in a Docker file and it sets the starting point for your image. You can use official images from Docker Hub, or you can also create your custom ones. Here, see from Ubuntu, it is our base image. So if you don't want to use any base image, you can also use here Scratch. If you want to build your image from total scratch, you can use this instruction from scratch. So the next is label. Label basically adds the metadata to the image, such as version information or description. Like here, version 1.0 description, here you can give any description for your image. So these are basically used for documentation or management purposes. So the third one is run. Run basically executes a command during the image build process. It basically used for installing packages, updating the system, or any other setup tasks. Like here, we use here run apt get update or apt get install Python 3. From this run command, we are updating the all the packages, and we then installing the Python 3 through our this command. So the next is work dir. Work dir basically used to set the working directory for your instructions. So here you can see work dir slash app. So with this command slash app directory will be created within our image. So the next is copy. Copy command basically used to copy the files or directory from the host machine into the image. So we have to mention the copy, and here is our the file path or file name. It is our file name, and here is the path where you want to copy this file. Here you have to mention the path, and here is the file name. So the next is add. Add command is similar to the copy command, but it can also handle the remote URLs. But you have to be careful when using the add command as it can introduce complexity. So the next is env. It basically sets the environment variables within the image. These variables can be used during the image build process, or these can also be used by the processes running inside the container. Next is expose. Expose command basically used to open the port for the containers. So the next is CMD. CMD basically specifies the default command to run when a container is started. This instruction can be overridden when running the container. If the Docker file contains the multiple CMD instructions, only the last one is effective. CMD basically is used to provide a default command that can be easily overridden when running the container. So the next is entry point. It is basically used to set the primary command for the container, and if any of the additional commands specified when running the container, they are treated as arguments to the primary command. So these are some basic Dockerfile instructions used to build the Docker images. Now let's see an real world example of creating an image from Dockerfile. So these are basically instructions I have written for a Dockerfile. So basically this is our Dockerfile. We are using our Nginx server as a base image, and we are copying this index.html file to the this path of the Nginx HTML, and we are running the Nginx server. And now let's create a image from this Docker file, and now let's see the output of our this file. So here, first let's see the images available in our system. Docker images. Currently there are two images are available, hello image and hello world. So right now, let's check our Docker file. If we type here command dir, see here all the contents of my desktop. Here is our Docker file. And now to build the image from this Docker file, you have to enter the command docker build. And after that, you have to give the path of the Docker file. Right now, the file is available in my current directory, so I'm using dot. You can use dot if the file present in your current directory. Dot represent the current directory, and the dot represent the previous directory. So I am using dot here, and this command docker build command automatically searches for the Docker file. This name Dockerfile. So let's enter. So our image is created from this Docker file. Let's check this by entering Docker images. So here you can see our new image is created, and right now the tag and the repo name shows none. You can change the name and tag of your image by Docker tag command. You have to enter Docker tag, and here you have to mention the image ID. Just copy the image ID and paste. And after that, just give the name of image, like we'll give the image name like nginx, and then demo. Enter. Now again, if we try Docker images, you can see here our name is changed to now nginx, and the tag changed to demo. Now let's create a Docker container from this Docker image. You have to enter command docker run and -d for detach mode, and also you have to map the host port to the container's port 80. I hope you remember in our Docker file we have exposed the port 80. So we are here mapping our host's 5000 port with the container's 80 port. So after that you have to mention the image ID. Just copy the image ID and paste and hit enter. Now it will return the container ID. Now you can check the running container by docker ps command. You can see here our container is running right now, and our host port 5000 is mapped with the port 80. Now we have successfully created a container from our Docker files image. Now let's cross verify this with just accessing this port 5000. Simply go here, local host 5000. See here our index.html file is running successfully. You can see here, hello Docker Nginx and welcome to my Docker, and hello Docker Nginx, welcome to my Docker Nginx example. So you can see our container is running completely fine. Now we can also check the terminal of the container here. Simply type the command docker exec in -it interactive terminal mode, and here you have to mention the container ID and simply type here bash. Right now we are in the our container. So let's see some commands, like right now here you can see /ft and /nginx. This path we have mentioned in our Docker file. Let's change the directory, and plus you can see the path we mentioned in the Docker file is created automatically, and Inside that we have Nginx. And so in this way you can create your Docker file and you can create your own custom image from the Docker file. So that's it for now. I hope you have liked this video.